Gulf Coast Weather Solutions is sponsored by. Thank you for making Gulf Coast Weather Solutions one of your go-to sources for weather around the clock. From heavy downpours and severe storms to winter weather and the tropics, we've got you covered with accurate, reliable forecasts you can trust.
Next week is starting to look a little bit more stormy.
But look what's moving into the state of Texas.
Gulf Coast Weather Solutions.
Good evening, Southeast Texas and Southwest Louisiana. I'm meteorologist Lucas Bostrick. We're looking at our TAMCO live Doppler radar over the past couple hours, and we can see we had some showers and storms earlier and still a few ongoing in Brazoria County at this time, although mostly they're dying out. But there are still some showers and storms moving south in the Gulf, and all this activity is in association with Tropical Storm Bertha, located just to our southeast, and it is moving towards us slowly but surely. Now, how defined it gets is going to be up for the kind of question at this point, but we are definitely keeping an eye on it. If we go to our satellite right now, we can see that Bertha is trying to get a little bit better organized at this time, and we can kind of notice that it's getting a little more defined simply because the bubble that we see essentially with the convection is getting a little bit less squished together. It's trying to expand a little bit more, which tells us the wind shear is starting to let up just a little bit at this time, but otherwise we certainly are seeing some showers and storms that went through the region, and that's about it as far as for this evening goes. But tomorrow we certainly could see some bands come through with Bertha, and we're going to be monitoring that closely as it approaches the coast. Now, regional current temperatures, we're looking at 80 in Beaumont, still 91 in Houston at this time, 87 in Lafayette, 83 in New Orleans, 97 in Waco and Wichita Falls, 99 in Laredo. Current local temperatures, we can see that we're running out there in the low to mid 80s, upper 80s, kind of scour around with some lower 90s as well. And of course, the heat index earlier today certainly was even hotter than this. Still at this time though, we can see we still have heat index values of over 100 degrees after all of the heat we had, where the high temperatures were in the low 100s and those heat index values were around 120 for some people, extremely hot. And a 24-hour temperature change is a little bit variable just because of the storms that were closer to the coast around Beaumont. You had a little bit of a cooler temperature change there, and then you've had some warmer areas as well out to the west and then further north. Now, the latest tropical storm track from the Hurricane Center with Bertha has the center basically coming right across Bolivar Peninsula coming up tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. And that kind of gives Bertha a little bit of time over the water. So we're going to be watching it just to make sure that we are good to go in terms of any type of redevelopment. But we'll show you in a minute what the futurecast is showing. It's just showing the potential of some bands coming through. Nothing too extreme, but obviously it's the tropics and it's the Gulf, and anything can change pretty fast with it. So we're certainly going to keep an eye on it. Now, going to our futurecast, we are going to notice that it does have a decent amount, if my computer will respond here. There we go. The futurecast here is going to show that this evening, for the most part, we can see the bands that are kind of spread out to the east. There's one band just to the west of Lafayette, and then there's all those storms out in the Gulf. But watch what happens overnight. We can see this model is showing Bertha moves over towards New Iberia. I don't really agree with that. I actually think it's going to be a little bit further south and more over water, which isn't exactly a great thing, but at least assuming if this were to happen, this would probably be a better case scenario in terms of any type of chance of redevelopment. But this center eventually will be tracking towards the west regardless, even if it does come in around New Iberia. And watch as it comes across, it's moving through across the Sabine River on this particular model, and we're having showers and storms developing along the circulation more or less, and as we get into the afternoon hours and evening hours, we still are having some storms. And at this point, the circulation is collapsing and we're getting more what we refer to as just a trough that is left over, and all these storms will be pushing on out at that point, and we should not see too much more. But certainly we could have a little bit of banding going on as the center comes across. And there's a chance if it's over water longer that it might be a little bit more defined than that. So that's why we're going to keep watching and keep you up to date. But lows tonight, we should see pretty partly cloudy skies. There could be some showers out there this evening as well. Just kind of keep that in mind. And our lower 80s is what we're kind of expecting to the upper 70s. And right along the beach in Galveston, it could be as warm as 86 tonight, which is very hot. Now, highs tomorrow, I actually don't really think it may not get quite into the upper 90s in the Houston area, but we'll see. It's possible, but certainly it'll be cooler across southeast Texas near Beaumont, stretching eastwards towards Lafayette. And your 7-day outlook, it calls for Bertha circulation or whatever comes across is likely tomorrow. And we could see some gusty winds of up to 35, I would say. Maybe some gusts up to 40. We'll kind of keep an eye on it. And then, obviously, if we have any major changes, we're going to be updating constantly about it. Also, then we'll see after, at this point, for Friday, it's going to be drying out. And then the heat and ridge of high pressure begins to build back in for early next week. Same for Lake Charles and Kinder. It looks like you'll have some gusts possibly up to 35 tomorrow. And then we'll see conditions improving. And then next week, it is going to be very hot and dry again. Make sure that you have the Gulf Coast Weather Solutions app, though, on your phone, downloaded and ready to go. It is available on iOS and Google Play, and you can catch the latest updates through it from us. Also, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Gulf Coast WX for our twice daily weather videos we post, and our Facebook page for additional weather updates here at Gulf Coast Weather Solutions. Be sure to check out Fox Weather tomorrow at 2:15, and you will be able to see me on Fox Weather tomorrow. So looking forward to talking with them about Bertha. That's what we'll be discussing. All right, everyone, have a good evening, and check out Johnny's forecast in the morning.